Now, The Hunt Palmer Show.
He needs care and treatment.
You are now listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Guarantee Health Solutions on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Is this a great country or what?
Locking down the middle of the day, live from the Raising Cane studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
Welcome in. Hunt Palmer coming to you from the Raising Cane studio downtown in the capital city on this Monday. Hope your work week's off to a good start. Brought to you by Guarantee Health Solutions. Jordan Kitchens, Cassie Spazzali back there on the ones and twos. We got a weekend to react to, a successful one for LSU's baseball team. We played the Final Four. We'll have a title game tonight that we will certainly discuss. LSU football spring practice ongoing. We'll hear from Harlan Berry a little bit later on. Saints trade options in the draft. I saw a story on ESPN.com that interested me a little bit. We'll talk about that in the bottom of hour number 2. We'll welcome on Jacob Rudder from Baseball America. Jacob was last on the show, actually, when I was in Omaha. He wrote a story about how Jay Johnson's the best coach in college baseball. Baseball America did not rank LSU this week, but I do want to get some big-picture national thoughts from Jacob. We're getting closer to the time where you start to look at postseason stuff, and I want to know what he thinks about UCLA, who's, I think, won 20 in a row, something like that. I want to know what he thinks about Georgia Tech, who's scoring a ton of runs. Just some non-LSU specific to SEC stuff, but I also want to talk about a few SEC storylines with Jacob, so we'll talk to him coming up in 90 minutes. Let's crank this thing up the way we always do with our opening drive.
Welcome to the big league.
It's time for Hunt's Opening Drive, presented by Fabry Chevrolet GMC in St. Francisville.
If you want to criticize this LSU baseball team, I'll certainly listen to you. They don't play defense very well. The pitching staff is spotty. They don't have a third starter in the absence of Cooper Moore. An ace has not truly emerged. Offensively, they've struggled at times with really good pitching. It's not a work of art, but their head is above water. This program 2 years ago played very poorly the first month of SEC play, and they could not keep their head above water. They were 3-12. They continued to lose Sundays. They got swept twice. They just weren't good, and they couldn't keep their head above water by making some game-changing plays late to switch some results, and they paid for it because they had to go to Chapel Hill and play probably the best opponent available to them. You can't play an SEC team in the regional round, so North Carolina was probably the best team out there, and that's where LSU got sent, and they got beat. I don't know what's going to happen with this team over the last 6 weeks of SEC play or in Hoover, or whether or not they'll host a regional or make a regional or travel to a regional, be a 2-seed or 3-seed. I don't know what's going to happen. But over the course of time, with this first month of league play where you have not played great baseball, you are 6-6 because this team will fight you and scrap you and claw you late in games. I know they gave one up against Vanderbilt, had a lead, had Guidry on the mound, had 2 outs, and you gave it up. I know that every game hasn't gone exactly to script, but you were trailing in a game against Kentucky on Sunday and came back and got it, and you were trailing twice in Knoxville. Curiel grand slam on Friday, and then Jake Brown's dribbler up the middle that tied things on Sunday, and the eruption in the 12th for the 10 spot, and you win the series. It's not a work of art, but they're fighting and scrapping and clawing, and they're okay. 6-6 is okay. It's not ideal. We're not going to get into postseason metrics through 4 weeks of SEC play. LSU's are bad, but there's so much in front of you that it doesn't really matter. What matters is what you've done, not what will happen, because that's to be decided. And what you've done is keep your head above water. Now, I can paint this picture 2 different ways. I can. And I'll choose to do it this way. I think this is not bias. I don't think it's skewed. I think it's the proper prism to view it through. This offense is coming to life a little bit. It was asleep for 3 weeks. It's coming to life a little bit. They're still not solving really good pitchers. Jackson Jelkin from Kentucky carved them up last Friday. He went 8 innings. They had no answer for him. Landon Mack went out there on Friday for Tennessee, and he went 7 innings of 1-run baseball. He struck out 10 and walked 1. He gave up 3 hits. Then on Saturday, Tegan Kuhns, who's a super talent, gave up just 4 hits and 1 run through 4 innings, and they went to Appenzeller, who's been the best pitcher on their team this year, has not allowed an SEC earned run, and he shoved you in a locker for 5 innings. Talking trash to Curiel, strutting off the mound, blowing you away. 6 strikeouts, no walks, and 5 shutout innings. So, like, against the best guys you saw, Mack, Kuhns, and Appenzeller, they combined to go 16 innings and give up 2 runs. Like, you didn't touch those guys, just like you didn't touch Jelkin. But the offense is coming to life against average and bad pitching. Kentucky didn't have anything after Jelkin, not in the starting rotation and not in the bullpen, and LSU ambushed them. And Kentucky's depth as a pitching staff has not been good. You saw that because they blew all 3 games in Nashville, and they gave up 2 to you. And you look at this LSU offense, and just the raw numbers, LSU, over the course of 8 games, so the 3 against Kentucky, 2 midweek wins against Louisiana Tech and Southern, and then the game against, and then the weekend against Tennessee. That's 8 games. LSU is hitting .314 as a team with 13 doubles and 21 home runs, and they're averaging 10.4 runs per game over 8 games. That's not that small a sample size. Now, look, Southern's pitching is terrible. Louisiana Tech's midweek pitching is terrible. Kentucky's bullpen has not been good. Tennessee's bullpen has been terrible. But you got to start somewhere. And the starting point for this team is they are swinging the bats against mediocre pitching. And you're getting contributions from guys other than Jake Brown, other than Derek Curiel. Seth Dardar, over these 8 games, is hitting .444. He's got 4 doubles, a triple, and 3 home runs. I did not think he would hit .220 all year, and he's coming out of it a little bit. John Pearson has been inserted into the lineup. He's currently riding a 6-game hitting streak, and in those 6 games, he's got 3 home runs and 9 runs driven in. He's helping over at third base. Cade Arambidi, pretty good Sunday. he had as many home runs on Sunday as he did all of last year. And Stephen Milam, we know he can get hot. He's got 7 hits in his last 4 games. I know Jake Brown didn't have a big day on Sunday. He hit 4 balls 100 miles an hour. The one that he hit no miles an hour is the one that counted because they were shifting him and came in and couldn't make the play to end the game at second base, and LSU played that run. But the most likely fault of this team, the most likely slumping piece to this puzzle to come out of it a little bit was always this offense. The defense is not good, and I'll talk about that in the next segment. Like, not having a Cade Anderson, Paul Skeens style ace, it's just not a likely thing to happen. And right now it hasn't. But this offense, I don't believe, is as bad as it looked the end of non-conference right into the beginning of conference play. I don't think it was that bad. The only way LSU was really doing anything offensively is when Cam Johnson could not find the zone, when Vanderbilt's Sunday starter could not find the zone, when you were just being gifted a bunch of runs. That's really the only production you were getting early in league play. Well, now you're starting to slug. I get it. Lindsey Nelson is a tiny stadium. I understand that. I don't expect LSU to hit 11 home runs every weekend. But you're at a ballpark where if you backspin one to the right spot, you can make hay. And LSU did that. They hit .378 with runners on base this weekend. They hit .346 with runners in scoring position this weekend. It was not good against the high-level arms, but that's the next step. The first step is stop getting shoved in a locker by Sacramento State. The first step is stop not being able to swing the bat against poor SEC Sunday pitching. Now you're starting to make that step. Can you get to the point where you are then actively putting pressure on SEC aces, where you are putting together better at-bats against the better bullpen pieces? We'll see if this team's got that in them or not. But I just didn't believe that Aaron Beatty and Dardar and Pearson and Trent Carraway and Braden Simpson and Omar Cerna and Mason Braun. Like, I didn't think everyone, Stephen Milam, was going to be as bad as they could be. And this is kind of the same refrain that I gave you last week, but now we've got another week on top of it. And you've got an 8-game sample size here where you're scoring 10 a game. So on one hand, the quality of your contact is significantly better. You are hitting the ball much harder. Home runs, doubles, you're hitting the ball harder. That had to happen, and it is. And the second piece to this, and this is intangible, but you're watching it, you can see, they believe. They're having some more fun. It weighs on you, man. It weighs on you when you're not playing well. And they were down 2 or 3 or 4-0 every game for like 3 weeks there. And it's a hard way to play the game. And they're still falling behind. They fell behind on Friday. They fell behind on Sunday. But they've now been in that spot. They've had some success in that spot. There are more guys than just Jake Brown hitting the ball hard, than just Derek Curiel hitting the ball hard. And there's some confidence, there's some camaraderie, there's some energy, there's some juice. It's why I was okay with Seth Dardar's 30-foot bat flip. One time, okay, let's blow off some steam here and feel a little bit better about ourselves. And they did. And so you got the series win. That's 2 series wins in a row. I wouldn't suggest that Kentucky or Tennessee are great baseball teams, but they're programs that have had some success over the last 3 or 4 or 5 years. And you stared them down and you got rubber matches when you were trailing. I'd prefer they play from ahead a little bit. I kind of liked Game 2 against Kentucky more than I like Game 3 against Kentucky or Game 3 against Tennessee, but you'll take them any way you can get them. And that's the point, is this team is, if you're looking at this through a championship prism, they're playing like bad. They're playing bad if you're looking at it through that way. Your ace is inconsistent. Your bullpen's got leaks. Your defense is a mess. You're losing some games. Like, through a championship prism, it doesn't look very good. But if you zoom out of that and just take it for what it is in the landscape of college baseball, you're okay at 6-6. You're okay. You're going to have to finish, but they're okay through a bad stretch. It's the opposite of what it was 2 years ago. So LSU should feel good getting on that plane coming home. They should take the field with confidence tomorrow. They should be able to get on the road and go play Ole Miss this weekend and feel like they've got a great chance to go win a weekend. And they should feel like no matter what the score is in a game, they're still kind of in it because you're getting production up and down the lineup over the last 2 weeks. That's something they've got to have because they're going to have to make up for that defense, and they're going to have to cobble pitching together where they can and hope that Cooper Moore can come back and be a helping hand to them. So I'll talk about some of the negative things I saw over the weekend, but the biggest picture here is the offense is taking some steps. They're coming out of things, and you're okay at 6-6. What do they do moving forward, and why are they 6-6 with 6 losses, and why do they keep falling behind, and what are the issues, and how might they be fixed? I'll talk about that when we come back.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
One Bath and Closets. OneBathAndClosets.com is the website. David Duvall and his team, 30 years redesigning and remodeling bathrooms and closets. They can do something quick, something easy but impactful. Those tub-to-shower conversions, that's the bread and butter for One Bath and Closets, and it can be a 3 to 5 day process, one that's pretty painless, and it's transformative. If you have an old tub that you don't use or that's not functioning properly or that's just ugly and dingy, get rid of it. Put that glass walk-in shower in. Use that space a little more properly. Go ahead and invest in your home. David and his team do this kind of stuff all the time over at One Bath and Closets. Check out the website, onebathandclosets.com, onebathandclosets.com. They've got financing available, and get that free consultation sometime this week. It's One Bath and Closets. Find them online at onebathandclosets.com.
Another roof gone too soon.
Looks like neglect. There's no doubt about it. This is a case of poor installation.
At Pelican Roofing, we don't guess. We investigate to find the real cause of your roof's problems. Call Pelican Roofing for your free roof investigation today.
Case closed.
Lock Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates has won for our clients over $175 million over the decades, but our greatest success is our clients who have chosen and trusted us to help them. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call. You've got nothing to lose.
Hi, I'm Sean Fagan. If you get injured, you could be staring at medical bills, repair costs, and lost income. life can be turned upside down. At Lockmeyer & Sean Fagan & Associates, we'll work to turn your world right side up. Hire us, and like thousands of our clients, you'll be glad you did.
Who bears the standard? Who sets the bar? It's not those satisfied by low-hanging fruit, nor by taking it easy. Now the standard is set by the best of us, by those who work hard. Dig deeper. Give more. At Sunshine, we're proud to provide John Deere products that work hard for you, the standard bearers. Find the dealer nearest you at sunequip.com.
Man, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool the crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Nicely done, Ice Cubes.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Guarantee Health Solutions. Guarantee Health Solutions, guiding healthcare forward. GuaranteeHealth.com.
Here's about Lifetime Roofing. LifetimeRoofingLA.com is the website, LifetimeRoofingLA.com. And Lifetime Roofing will offer you a lifetime warranty, and that warranty covers the workmanship, also covers the materials, which are backed by Certainteed, one of the oldest and most trusted name in building materials. It's an amazing thing that they can offer you there, a lifetime workmanship warranty on your roof. They can also help you finance. They've got an in-house team there that will help you through it, whether you're financing the entire roof that you may be buying. You can finance it up to 18 months for 0%. They can also finance a deductible if you've got a sizable deductible and you're going through insurance with that. I also want to remind you, they have the opportunity to install gutters, siding, windows, all available at Lifetime Roofing. Check them out online, LifetimeRoofingLA.com. That's LifetimeRoofingLA.com. All right, one of the big talking points here among the fan base, and it's my job to communicate, obviously, with the fan base and talk about the things that you want to talk about, is Zach York. And I understand why. He's been a mess right now. There's no two ways about it. My contention is, and I'm not going to pretend like I watched Zach York play all of his games at Grand Canyon. I didn't. But it appears to me that he's mentally in a really bad spot. And I draw that from the fact that you're talking about a guy in 3 years at Grand Canyon, he made 8 errors total. He's made 5 in half a year at LSU. Now, I didn't get a great look at Sunday's play when he got the ball thrown to him by Dardar and the play wasn't made. I couldn't tell from the view that I have, which was the live television view, whether or not it was just a low throw that hit off his glove or whether it bounced and he didn't pick it. First of all, that's an inexcusable throw from Dardar. You're a college baseball player who's a senior. It's 45 feet. Make the throw. And he didn't. It looked like York should have caught it as well. But in any event, the error was charged to York. It probably was in the air. And the play's got to be made. You also let a ground ball go through his legs on Saturday. I don't think I'm going to trust LSU at this point with what I've seen from that defense. I'm not going to trust them to turn a 3-6-3 there and get out of it with no runs. But certainly you'd like to get out of it before you give up the long ball. So the defense has not been good by Zach York, obviously, but his job is not to be an elite defender. His job is to impact the game offensively, which he did at Grand Canyon. He's the program's all-time leader in multiple categories offensively. In an SEC play, he's 5 for 34. That's a 147 average with 14 strikeouts and no extra base hits. And he's guessing a lot. He's taking strike 3 a lot. And I just think he's fighting it. And you could see, we played the soundbite after the Louisiana Tech game. He hit the 2 home runs, and they asked him about, maybe coming out of a slump. And it was, he said, I'm pressing. And he just looked like a guy who was in a tough spot mentally. And I get it. There are always going to be folks, and I talked about this previously, that just are going to lash out when a player on their team is not producing. And that's going to be Zach York's situation right now. You check social media, you check message boards, you check my text messages. It's not all warm and fuzzy for LSU's first baseman right now. And in my opinion, he needs to sit. Not for the season, just right now. And so you've got some options at first base. Mason Braun is listed as first baseman. He was a high school outfielder. I don't know if he's capable at first base. He's played some in the fall and preseason. Maybe he can play there. Maybe Eddie Yaman can play there. I have no problem with him being in the lineup. He's hit the ball pretty hard in very limited showings. If you're going to play Cerna at first base, you want to catch Yaman when Aaron Beatty DHs, that's fine with me too. Like, you have some options. You can put Braun there. You can put Cerna there. You can put Yaman there. There are guys you can play there, and I would sit Zach York for a little bit right now. I still believe he can hit SEC pitching. I watched him hit in the fall, and he hit LSU's arms really well. But right now, he's just playing petrified because he's making mistakes in the field that he didn't really make at Grand Canyon, and he's not swinging the bat. And I realize that most of you listening to me right now are yelling, sit this guy down. He can't play. He can't play defense. He can't play offense. He's not any good. Get out. Give me somebody else. I understand that. I don't think Jay Johnson's going to do that fully, but I would play some other guys right now and maybe give him a week where he's just doesn't have to think about every mistake that he's made over the course of a weekend, because right now he's fighting it in a bad way. This team defensively, to kind of piggyback off of that with York, these problems just aren't really fixable. You don't have a Michael Braswell available to you that you can plug in that you know is going to play good defense on the infield. That you just don't have one. Like, you thought maybe Jack Ruckert could go do that. He showed that he could not at this point. So you're going to have to go with some of the better bats and hope that the issues don't crop up at the worst possible time. You're going to have to go with Dardar at second. He's hitting .444 over the last 8 games. He gives you some power. He gives you some doubles potential. And he's made some plays defensively at second base. He helped turn a big double play over the weekend. It's not beautiful, and I wish he would have made a way better throw to Zach York on that error that was charged to York. The second baseman doesn't need to be throwing the ball at the first baseman's ankles. If your shortstop does on a backhand play in the hole, I need the first baseman to step up and make that play. The second baseman on a routine ground ball needs to pick it up and then hit the guy in the chest. But you're going to live with Dardar's defense there at second base and see what he can do offensively. And John Pearson has swung the bat pretty well. It hasn't been awful defensively. He made the one overthrow in the 9th inning there. But he's been okay defensively. I'm going to give Milam a pass on the one bad throw from shortstop on the double play ball. He's been perfect all year, and he just didn't make that throw. Jake Brown continues to be inaccurate with that cannon of an arm in right field. He cost you a base with a wild throw. I think he probably should have thrown the guy out. I mean, just a good throw when he catches that foul ball early in the game on Sunday. A good throw gets the guy at home pretty easily. It was 15 feet up the line, and it skipped and went out of went awry, and it caused an error. But you're going to have to live with not great defense at catcher, not great defense at second, and not great defense at third, unfortunately. Caraway is a little bit better defensively at third base, probably. He's not hitting at all. His at-bat in a big spot yesterday was just completely non-competitive. 3 straight sliders. He swings at a ball that's 2 feet out of the strike zone on an 0-2 slider with the runner on third and less than 2 outs. And that situation arose when LSU sent the runner home in Curiel on that ball that was hit to right field that the right fielder misplayed. I understand what Josh Jordan was trying to do there. You're in extra innings. You've got some chaos on the field because the right fielder has misplayed the ball. You've got a veteran base runner who's got pretty good speed in Curiel. You want to make them make a play. And look, you can't get any closer to being safe than that play was. He was out. He missed the base by literally less than an inch on the slow-mo on the slide. But in that spot, in extra innings, in a tie game with no one out, I just cannot make an out-at-home plate. I can't. Especially when Tennessee doesn't have elite bullpen guys to go to there. Josh Jordan is a really good third base coach. He's made some great sends and some great stop signs in his time there at third base. And this one wasn't egregious because you just about made the play, but I can't run into an out there in extra innings in a tie game with nobody out. That one was tough. So there's a lot of things that LSU does that just aren't great. Their defense is not great. They're not doing an awesome job of hitting really high-end pitching. That's what great teams do. They don't have a proven ace that is stepping forward. But Evans has been okay. Schmidt's been pretty good. Cowan's found himself a little bit, and the offense has dragged him out of it at times and won games late, and you kind of are where you are. So to me, if I'm looking at like fixable things, I'm going to roll with the guys, Dardar and Pearson at second and third. I'm probably going to sit York for a little bit and see what Braun can give you, see what Yaman can give you, see what Cerna can give you with Aaron Beatty at catcher. And that's what they're rolling with. Jay Johnson's not afraid to push buttons. And he's doing some of that. You saw this week a button was he was going to go with Danny Lockenmeyer against lefties instead of Ethan Plog and Santiago Garcia. That's a kind of a button that he pushed there. It was good one time, got an out. It was not great when Lockenmeyer came in and hit the guy. And the last piece to this weekend puzzle is Jay getting run on Sunday. You knew that was coming. It was a poor call. You're going to hear me jump on officials and referees for doing things outside of making the calls. I don't like ejections in most cases. I don't like technical fouls in most cases. I don't like when umpires, especially the home plate umpire, doesn't ask for an appeal. Procedural things I don't like. You're going to miss calls. It's hard. And he missed that call. And Jay had it, and he went out and did that. But I'm not going to jump down the umpire's throat for me personally. Jay should have. And Jay did exactly what he should have done. Me as the analyst, 24 hours later, like, I'm not going to go nuts because the guy missed a strike call. It's a hard job. You're not going to get every single pitch right. And in that spot, it's a tough one to miss. He missed it. But Jay was going to go out there and get his money's worth of that because it was a spot and obviously a hitter. Now, knowing we know now there were 2 more home runs to come and 2 more that he already hit. You don't want the bat being taken out of that guy's hands. But the guy just missed the call, and Jay let him have it. And that's not a side of Jay Johnson you see very often, but that was the spot. When you've got a team that's fighting like crazy and you're in a late inning situation, there's not a lot in the 9th inning that Jay Johnson's going to do managerially at that point unless you tie it and go to extras. It's time to go and to have your guys back. And he did. And I thought the images of him after the game, jumping into the team huddle, he's got his hat on backwards, he's smiling, cutting up with the guys. They appreciated it. He appreciated them having his back after he left the game. And that was a huge win for LSU on Sunday. There's no two ways about it. That game goes a lot of different ways. I mean, Tennessee was inches away with an out at second base and with a potential walk-off 2-run homer in either the 9th or extra innings. Not sure what inning that was, but y'all know the ball I'm talking about when Levi Clark hit that ball that Curiel caught at the wall. You were inches away in both those instances from losing the game. It didn't happen. It swung back your way. And over the course of 30 games, you hope to come out on the good end of more of those than bad. You came up on the short end against Vanderbilt in the opener, and you got one back there on Sunday, which was awesome for LSU. So that's kind of the good, the bad, and the ugly for 3 days of baseball in Knoxville, Tennessee. It's a success when you go there and win 2 games. LSU hadn't done that since 2016. They did it over the weekend, and they now move to the final game of the first half, final weekend of the first half of SEC play in Oxford at 6-6. Our Monday show is brought to you by Guarantee Health Solutions. Find them online at guaranteehealth.com, guaranteehealth.com. Take a time out. We come back. We'll switch to LSU football next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
GoTro's Outdoor Power. GoTro's Outdoor Power. Locally owned and operated. Family owned and operated. But that doesn't mean they're small. Not at all. In fact, you're talking about Gotros Outdoor Power with the largest parts inventory in the state of Louisiana. Gotros Outdoor Power is the largest Hustler inventory in the state by far. So if you're looking for a zero-turn mower, look no further than Gotros Outdoor Power. They've been in business for 22 years. They've got trucks running all day, all over the state. So if you don't have a trailer, but you need to get that mower delivered to your house, they can help you. If you need parts, they can be of service to you in that way. And financing is incredible. They can get you behind the wheel of a new zero-turn for $100 a month. So go see them. 2 locations, one in Gonzales, one on Airline Highway in Baton Rouge. Again, in Gonzales, Airline Highway in Baton Rouge. You can find them online at GoTrosOnline.com. GoTrosOnline.com.
When it comes to industrial construction, River Parish Contractors can do it all. Mechanical, structural, custom fabrication, specialized welding, and turnaround services. Strategically located in between Baton Rouge and New Orleans, we have the local team with the experience and commitment to safety to manage the most complex industrial projects. Period. Here's the deal. Partnering with us means your project is delivered on time, on budget, and most important, safely. River Parish Contractors, let's get building.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
After a decade of working in private duty nursing, I know how hard it can be to find compassionate care for the ones that you love the most. So I started Decision Critical, a premier concierge nursing agency, so we can take care of you wherever you are. Our highly skilled nurses provide exceptional care from the comfort of your own home, with personalized packages for short-term, long-term, or even around-the-clock care. Visit us at decisioncriticalbr.com and give us a call today to get started.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you. Problem gambling isn't always easy to spot. Know the signs, set your limit. Learn more about healthy gambling habits by visiting us online or text or call for free, confidential help now.
Everything you need for a stunning garden is at the Plant Barn in Baton Rouge. From trees and shrubs to plants and pottery, the Plant Barn has it all at great prices.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Guarantee Health Solutions. Guarantee Health Solutions, guiding healthcare forward. GuaranteeHealth.com.
Telling you about First American Bank and Trust. First American Bank and Trust. Looking for a commercial loan? First American Bank and Trust. Looking for a personal loan? First American Bank and Trust. It started up in 1910. You've been doing something 116 years. You got to figure it out, and they do. That's why they've grown to 25 locations throughout Southeast Louisiana. Wherever you are in our part of the world, there is a First American Bank and Trust near you. And the people that are working there, that are making the decisions there, that you have a relationship with there, are part of your community. They're the people you see out on the town on a Friday night. They're the people you see at church on Sunday morning. And they're making the decisions about your business. That's why you should do business with First American Bank and Trust. It's not just a local mom and pop shop here. 25 locations. That means they've got the resources to help you. So if you're looking for a commercial loan, you're looking for a loan for that home of your dreams, First American Bank and Trust. First American Bank and Trust. All right, let's talk a little LSU football. Harlan Berry met with the media back at the end of last week. I wrote about it a little bit at LouisianaSports.net, and he's got an opportunity to really take a big step forward here at LSU in year 2. I believe last year he just didn't have a chance. You had an offensive line that was not very good, a system that was not very good, quarterback issues, and a passing game that didn't help the running game at all. And so to try to draw a lot from what you saw in LSU's ground game last year would probably be a fool's errand. And so Barry talked a little bit about his takeaways from that freshman year.
What I took away from that was just getting on the field, being used to coming from St. Martin's to LSU, just how fast the game is, how fast everybody is. Even the D linemen are pretty fast. They get after you. So just being able to learn from that, how fast the game moves, the different types of plays, the physicality, that's one thing I took away from that.
I thought that was an interesting answer, learning how fast it is. And you realize, like, St. Martin's is not the top of Louisiana high school football in terms of the classification, the competition level that you're playing. As much 7-on-7 work as you're doing or going to work out against guys at camps, it's a different world when you put on the pads and go play in the Southeastern Conference. So this is a big offseason for Barry to get in shape and to up his game. Entering his sophomore season, he talked about his offseason work.
Definitely trying to get that size up, at least maintaining it within this offense because, this is a real fast offense. So definitely trying to get the size up and, most importantly, my stamina, being able to, go with the tempo and all that. So just being able to do that was a big thing.
I mean, you gotta be able to play fast in Lane Kiffin's offense, and it creates advantages for the offense, but you've got to be in great shape to do that. So it's a balance for Barry between adding the weight and making sure that you're in the proper conditioning, and that's where Coach Savage comes in, that new strength and conditioning program, and Barry talked about that.
Coach Savage, when we first got here, them workouts was devious, I'm not going to lie. I was real tired. I called my mom, too, real tired, telling her that, this is different. But we embrace it, and we working, and we just trying to get in the best shape we can.
Gotta be in shape to play offense at LSU under Lane Kiffin and Charlie Weiss Jr. There's no question about it. The other piece of that offensive coaching puzzle from Ole Miss, Kevin Smith, who's come over to coach the running backs. And I can tell you, we're out there at practice, and they are the closest group to us, the running backs. Kevin Smith is an involved coach. He is intense. He is yelling. He is running through the drills. I mean, he still looks like he could play in the NFL, quite frankly. And he goes through all the drills first to kind of show what he wants to see them do. And all these guys are new to him. So sometimes they're struggling to do it, and he's not having it. He is getting all over those guys all the time. But I think it's something that they've been pretty receptive to. We're there. You see those guys going through those drills, and not a lot of complaining, just a lot of listening and a lot of working. And so Harlan Berry talked about his relationship with this new running back coach.
Oh, yeah, Coach Smith, definitely a different type of coaching style. He played the position. So, him just coaching us, giving us these little nuggets on different types of cuts, the way to move the ball. It's great coaching, and the drills we be doing is really intense.
We've seen that. There's no question about it. And I think the talent level that LSU's got at running back is strong. Obviously, you've got Barry, who was the number 1 prep running back in the country when he came out. You've got Caden Durham, who was a freshman All-SEC back a couple of years ago, who's got a lot of talent, was a 4-star coming out of high school. I think what you've done in the portal has been pretty interesting. And I think when you look at this group of players, I think that you're going to start with Barry and Durham as kind of a default, but it wouldn't surprise me if Dylan Jones gets a lot of carries. That's a guy who comes from Wisconsin. I talked about him last week. He's big. He's physical. He's the most physical back they've got on the roster, and I think he can fill a need. I think you're going to see more of Barry. Barry's more adept in the passing game than those two guys are. He's more elusive probably than those two guys are, but if you're looking for guys to break tackles between the tackles, I think you're looking at Durham, who's proven he can do that when he's healthy, and I think Dylan Jones as well, who's just a big physical presence. The guys that are the constants are Barry and Durham. They were here last year, and I thought it was interesting to hear Harlan Berry talk about Caden Durham, who looked into the transfer portal, looked into leaving, and was talked into coming back, and I think Harlan Berry was pretty excited about that.
Yeah, CD, that's my brother, for real. So it's like, when I first came in here, I sat next to CD in the room, took notes from him, learned from him, just being able to, because he came in before me, so just being able to learn from what he was learning when he first came in as a freshman and up until now. So we just trying to work together.
I have given these statistics before. It's it's jarring because you look at LSU was 16th in the country, 16th in the conference, dead last in rushing last year, 16th the year before that. 2 consecutive years dead last in the conference. You look at Ole Miss, conversely, with Lane Kiffin, and you're talking about a team last year in Ole Miss that was 6th in the SEC in terms of yards per carry, that led the SEC, number 1 in rushing touchdowns. The year prior to that, Ole Miss was 5th in the SEC in rushing. In 2023, Ole Miss was 5th in the SEC in rushing. The year before that, in 2022, Ole Miss led the SEC in rushing. They have made that a priority. They make that a staple of their offense. They are committed to it, and they make it happen. And you see what happened with Kejuan Lacey, and I think that there is a lot of credit that goes to Lane Kiffin and to Charlie Weiss Jr. about that. I think there's a lot of credit that goes to Kevin Smith about that. There's an evaluation piece to it. There's a development piece to it. There's a commitment piece to it. And there's an execution piece to it. All those things have to line up, and none of it lined up for LSU over the last couple of years, and it has for Ole Miss. When people think of Lane Kiffin, they think of air it out, score a ton of points, throwing the hands up in the air before the ball snapped, deep balls, big plays. All that stuff is true. They do a lot of that stuff. But it all starts with the running game. They want to run the ball, period. And they have. They've been among the best in the country in rushing touchdowns. They've been among the best in the conference in rushing yards per game. You look at attempts per game, Ole Miss is always way up there. They led the conference in 2022, led the conference in 2023. They were 6th in the conference in 2024. And last year, they were 4th in the conference. Like, they are going to be, LSU with Lane Kiffin is going to be in the top 3 or 4 in the SEC in rushing attempts, not dead last like they were last year. LSU ran the ball 29 times per game last year. Ole Miss ran it 38. 9 more per game. The year previous to that, LSU ran it 28 times a game. Ole Miss ran it 39. So 11 more times per game. There's just a commitment to making sure you do it. And LSU just hadn't done that, and that's going to change. There are a lot of things that are going to change about this offense. That's one of them. And I think that the talent level you've got with Jones and with Berry and with Durham is enough with the offensive line that we think should be better than the one last year was, 2 years ago was run blocking. It should be better. And I think Harlan Berry factors into that. There was a real thought from the periphery that when Frank Wilson left, that Harlan Berry and Caden Durham may follow him, or maybe one would follow him. It turns out that both guys stayed. They're both thrilled to be here. I wrote about this. Harlan Berry said, "Look, this is my home. I always wanted to go to LSU, and I came to LSU. I didn't want to leave LSU." He didn't, and now you got a chance for him to be potentially a lead back on a team that runs the ball heck of a lot better than they did last season. That's at least the hope here in Baton Rouge. Our Monday show is brought to you by Guarantee Health Solutions. We still got a lot to do. Jacob Rudder is going to be with us at the bottom of hour number 2. He's from Baseball America. We'll talk some national college baseball storylines. I've got thoughts on tonight's championship game as well as the Final Four. We got to talk about the women's Final Four. We got coaches screaming at each other, saying they're going to beat each other up. That's one way to go about things. I'll talk about that later on, and we'll get you ready for tonight's national final. What are the Saints? Could they trade in the draft? We've got a thought on that coming up. We'll do that to close out hour number 1 coming up next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Highland Insurance Group, HighlandIG.com, HighlandIG.com. Jonathan Carver and his team are just awesome to work with. You realize as the spring is here that means summer's next. And at the end of summer, you know what that means. It's hurricane season. The time to look at your property policy about hurricane season is not when there's one in the Gulf. That's too late. You're going to get a moratorium on coverage. You're stuck with what you got. How about right now in a low-pressure situation, just take a look. How did your building get evaluated? Where did you arrive on your business interruption limit? What about deductible? Why did you put that number where it is? Do you even know what those numbers are in your current property policy if you're a business owner? If not, let the Highland Insurance Group come in and look at it. They know that the property market down here in South Louisiana is tough. They're an independent broker. They've got multiple markets that will take a look so you can make sure that you've got the best price and the best coverage. That's what the Highland Insurance Group will do for you. It's the Highland Insurance Group. Find them online at HighlandIG.com.
Parrish Construction and Roofing. Trusted by champions, built for Louisiana.
Do business with someone you know. Parrish Construction and Roofing.
Parrish Construction and Roofing. ParrishBuilt.com.
The Cane's Box Combo, a symphony of flavors. Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers, one love.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
I'm Gabrielle McLeod on behalf of the Louisiana Propane Dealers. I have spent hundreds of hours preparing for scholarship competitions. That preparation paid off when I won the Fitness and Talent Awards along with the title of Miss Louisiana. The Louisiana Propane Dealers are also pretty talented and want you to be prepared for when the power goes out. Visit LouisianaPropane.com to find out about propane generators and other safety tips. Louisiana Propane, it truly is the fuel for our future.
If your office is experiencing performance issues like slow networks, jammed printers, or disappearing files, Advanced Office Systems may be right for you. With powerful IT solutions, print management, document imaging, and security systems, they help offices regain confidence naturally. Side effects may include uncontrollable efficiency, smoother workflows, and a sudden burst of office joy. Say goodbye to those emotional breakdowns in the supply closet and get back on track with Advanced Office Systems.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Guarantee Health Solutions. Guarantee Health Solutions, guiding healthcare forward. GuaranteeHealth.com.
Shout out to Guarantee Health Solutions. Find them online, GuaranteeHealth.com, GuaranteeHealth.com. What is Guarantee Health Solutions? Well, it's right there in the name. It's solutions moving forward for healthcare. If you're a dentist office or a private clinic, if you're a urgent care hospital, no matter where you are in the healthcare space, Guarantee Health Solutions is here to help you grow, to help get patients in the door, to help patients have a more positive experience with you so that they return. You're talking about a company in Guarantee Health Solutions that's able to give a full assessment of the patient's journey. They're able to help you with marketing, help you become more digital. They're able to train your front desk to allow the patient experience to be a positive one. And they've handled 1 million patients over the last year at Guarantee Health Solutions. They're in 12 states, 23 partnerships. For those in the healthcare space, you know how impressive this is. They were able to take one partnership and take their net promoter score from a 65 to a 90 in 3 months. 65 to a 90 in 3 months. So if you're in the healthcare space and you would like some help in moving forward in generating business for your practice and improving your patient's experience, Guarantee Health Solutions is the call you need to make. Check them out online, GuaranteeHealth.com, GuaranteeHealth.com. All right, there's an article on ESPN. They do this every year. It's a mock draft, but it's all trades. All trades. So I looked it up. I was like, okay, what are they going to do with the Saints here? Like, I know there's going to be some trade back scenario that I can go ahead and look at and understand that Mickey would never do that. And so I scroll down to the Saints at 8, and I say, well, what do they do? And it says, Mickey Loomis's next trade down in round 1 of a draft will be his first, which means there's only one direction to travel here. I've already mocked a smaller move up for the Saints, so how high could they realistically go if they want to make a major defensive splash? And so in this, He's got the Saints trading up to the 3rd pick in the draft with Arizona. They would give Arizona their 8th slot, obviously, a 3rd rounder this year and a 2nd rounder next year. And in this, it's a trade up to go get Bailey from Texas Tech. Okay, let's chew on that for a second. That position is vital to playing championship level football. We all agree on that. If you could get the next TJ Watt, if you could get the next Myles Garrett, if you could get the next terror off the edge that's a 13, 14 sack guy, like that's a game changer for your franchise. It makes teams play you differently. I understand that. But there's no guarantee of it. And the only thing you guarantee if you trade and make this move to take that player, you guarantee that you don't have a 3rd round pick this year and you don't have a 2nd round pick next year. And the guarantees in that way, the assets that you so badly need for this team go away for the hope that you got a game changer at 3, when the actuality is that you may be able to, there will be a all-pro player available there at 8. Now, whether or not the Saints take him remains to be seen. But I cannot get on board with moving a 3rd and a 2nd to go up 5 spots to take a player that's not a quarterback. Like, I just can't get on board with it. It's exciting. It would be interesting. It would be a content bonanza for us. But what have we said about the Saints for 2 years now? Younger, cheaper, younger, cheaper, younger, cheaper. And if you give away assets that allow you to get young, cheap players, you can't get enough young, cheap players. And the Saints desperately need them. I applaud the Saint front office last year for essentially standing pat and making their picks. One minor move, but essentially standing pat and making their picks. You got to do that again. You can't fall back into the ways of moving up to get guys that ultimately didn't pan out. You can't make moves to go get Davenport. You can't make moves to go get guys that ultimately don't help. The draft's a crapshoot. We know that. So the only thing that's guaranteed is the amount of players that you can bring in. And limiting that to go take a risk, it just doesn't make sense for this team. Now, if you are in the end of the Breeze era, I'll live with it. You think you're one piece away. Saints aren't one piece away. If they go and get Bailey at 3 and he gets 17 sacks this year, the Saints still have issues. They got issues at wide receiver. They got issues at corner. They got issues at linebacker. They got issues. I thought that the final piece to this blurb on ESPN.com in this story was a little bit interesting. It says Arizona, again, would add a premium pick in 2027 from a team that doesn't project to be very good. They're talking about the Saints in that doesn't project to be very good. We all think that they project to be better. How good, we'll see. But you are not in a position right now to trade up. You want to consider moving a few spots in the 5th or something, I'll listen to it begrudgingly. We're not dealing 2nd and 3rd round picks right now with this roster the way it is in New Orleans. You need to take those players on rookie contracts that don't cost a lot of money and are in their early 20s and hope that you hit on a lot of them like it appears you did last year. Can't be ditching assets to move up 5 spots when you need holes plugged every which way. Can't happen. Jordan, how do we feel about it?
Hunt, I promise you, if Mickey Loomis ever traded up right now especially for the number 3 pick and draft another DN, unless this guy is Myles Garrett or Will Anderson Jr., we can both agree he's not Myles Garrett or Will Anderson Jr.
Doesn't appear to be.
It does not appear to be. You will hear the purge music go on in New Orleans, and we will have an angry mob of pitchforks and who knows else was out there will be at an airline drive ready to talk to Mickey Loomis.
My take on the draft stuff, because it's such a crapshoot.
Extremely.
I'm not here to criticize or validate the actual player and his skill set. That's a little bit beyond my course and scope. No one really knows. How many times is Mel Kiper dead wrong? How many times he dead? I am here to evaluate the plan.
Yes.
That plan is not good. The plan of ditching a second and third round pick to move up 5 spots is not good.
When he could be there at 8.
Yeah.
Essentially, he could actually be there at 8. Oh, no, sir. No,
that
sir.
plan is not good.
No,
so
sir.
That's it was interesting. I was looking for the Saints trade back thing in this. Instead, it was a trade up thing.
I could have been cool with that. Yeah. You would have had me, but trading up for David Bailey top 3 and it's not Will Anderson Jr., Mickey, please.
There's no indication he's doing it. We can't get mad at Mickey right now. He hasn't done anything.
Right,
Gotta
it's
wait until he
hypothetical.
does something before we get mad at him. That's it for hour number 1 here on a Monday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show. We're brought to you by Guarantee Health Solutions. You missed the first hour, 30 minutes on LSU baseball at the top. We talked a little LSU football in the running game. That's all can be found at Hunt on LSU, wherever you find your podcasts, of course, on YouTube as well. Little Saints there. Hunt on Saints, always available for your Saints coverage year-round. We got a lot to do in hour number 2. I got to get you ready for the Final Four's conclusion tonight. And, of course, got to talk a little bit about LSU baseball with Jacob Rudder. We'll do that later.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Ran out of time there. That hard break will come get you. Closing up hour number 1 here, brought to you by Chevrolet. Fabry Chevrolet GMC. Fabry Chevrolet GMC on Highway 61 in St. Francisville. Go by and see them. They got an incredible staff there. As you well know, the Fabry family has been doing business in this town for 35 years. They've been doing it with great customer service, a wonderful buying experience, and great service after the sale. So go by and see them in St. Francisville. It's a quick drive from Baton Rouge. Maybe you're north of town in Zachary or Baker, just right up Highway 61 in St. Francisville. The entire inventory is online at FabryChevrolet.com. So if you're looking for a Tahoe, you're looking for a Yukon or Denali, it's all there at FabryChevrolet.com. And they got great deals, up to $11,000 off Silverados, up to $13,000 off Sierras if you were looking for a truck. Make that short drive up to St. Francisville or check them out online. You can find the entire inventory at FabryChevrolet.com. It's Fabry Chevrolet GMC at FabryChevrolet.com.
When it comes to industrial construction, River Parish contractors can do it all. Mechanical, structural, custom fabrication, specialized welding, and turnaround services. Strategically located in between Baton Rouge and New Orleans, we have the local team with the experience and commitment to safety to manage the most complex industrial projects. Period. Here's the deal. Partnering with us means your project is delivered on time, on budget, and most important, safely. River Parish Contractors, let's get building.
After a decade of working in private duty nursing, I know how hard it can be to find compassionate care for the ones that you love the most. So I started Decision Critical, a premier concierge nursing agency, so we can take care of you wherever you are. Our highly skilled nurses provide exceptional care from the comfort of your own home with personalized packages for short-term, long-term, or even around-the-clock care. Visit us at decisioncriticalbr.com and give us a call today to get started.
Hi, this is Beth Serena. Welcome to my pool. The first time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here, we eat out here, we watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell Pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized. It'll be time efficient. And you will have your pool in no time.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Looking for the ultimate game day experience? Come to the Queen Casino in Baton Rouge. Savor game day platters and snacks, plus drink specials at 1717 Kitchen and Cocktail. So come out for game day and let our team make you the MVP. The Queen Casino, where every moment is a win.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Nick DeLuca. North Carolina has its guy. Tar Heels men's basketball program hiring longtime NBA coach Michael Malone this afternoon. Malone spent over 2 decades in the NBA as a head coach and assistant, the winningest coach in the history of the Denver Nuggets, leading them to an NBA title in 2023. UNC let go of Hubert Davis after the season following consecutive one-and-done trips to the NCAA tournament. In the NBA, the Bulls have fired executive Vice President of Basketball Operations Arturas Karnisovas and General Manager Mark Eversley, both hired to run the Chicago front office at the start of 2021. Went 224 and 254 across 6 seasons. WNBA, the Chicago Sky are trading two-time WNBA All-Star Angel Reese to the Atlanta Dream in exchange for first-round picks in 2027 and 2028. Reese defended her WNBA rebounding crown last season, averaging over 12.5 rebounds per game.
When I want that big birthday energy, I grab Confetti Craze 5-Hour Energy. It's Vanilla E, buttery cake flavor without the sugar, and it's easy to take anywhere. The Funfetti flavor is back on 5hourenergy.com or on Amazon. Crack open a Confetti Craze 5-Hour Energy shot today.
Now, The Hunt Palmer Show.
He needs care and treatment.
You are now listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Guarantee Health Solutions on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Is this a great country or what?
Locking down the middle of the day, live from the Raising Cane studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
Hour 2, Monday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge, brought to you by Guarantee Health Solutions. Jacob Rudder talking some national college baseball storylines coming up in 30 minutes. Done some LSU football, done some Saints football, done some LSU baseball. Let's start the hour with college basketball. Can I start with the women for a second and say something? Jordan, I apologize. I'm just having a hard time taking a physical altercation between a 72-year-old man and a 55-year-old 5'6" woman,
very small,
very seriously. I'm sorry, Dawn Staley walking around saying I'm gonna whip Gino's ass. Like he's 72. I can't take it seriously. I said this last week when we were talking about ejections. I'm so non-confrontational that like my blood doesn't get boiling over stupid stuff, what people say and whatnot. So if this was going on and I was out there, I would just be laughing. I would be laughing at both of them. I would be laughing at them. Now, they are wildly successful people. They are phenomenal basketball coaches. Their programs are incredible. They got a ton of hardware.
Two of the very best, some would say.
This fight, I can't take it seriously. If you got two NBA dudes that are beefing, that's a real thing. I can't take this seriously.
Yeah, well, my issue is I really don't understand what exactly is the problem. Apparently, she didn't shake his hand or before the game or something like that, and then
they gave each other a big hug last year.
Yeah, no,
somebody was running that back on Twitter.
So that's where I'm confused. That was it. The issue was that she didn't shake her hand before the game, and he came and confronted her, and then she did what she did. Like, I'm just so lost at the fact that we're talking about two of the most successful women basketball coaches. Like, these aren't just some Randy Scrandies.
Yeah.
Like, these are the very top of the profession, and this is what happens. Like at the end of a game like this, I know tempers are high. You can't be at that level and not be a competitor like that and, hate losing more than winning. Yeah. But for that to transpire for two of the very best, I can't believe that.
That was a wild scene there, but UCLA stole the show in that one. Incredible effort by those guys. Lauren Betts, very tall, very good.
You seen her little brother?
No.
He's 16, he's 7'3".
7'3"?
7'3" at 16, yeah.
Who are these parents?
Exactly, yes.
Oh my gosh. As far as the men's side goes, I was super bummed out Saturday night. Like, I was ready to lock in for that game. I thought it was going to be awesome. It was not.
Oh, the Michigan one?
Yeah. Michigan beat them by 20, and they didn't have Lindenberg.
Yeah, he rolled his ankle.
Yeah.
He wears the extremely old Jordan 13s, rolls his ankle, and you would have thought that, Arizona, a team all year, like they've been great all year. But Michigan, what was crazy, Hunt, is because Michigan got up so early and just put them to bed. Arizona never had a chance ever since that point on, even with Lindenberg in and out the game.
I'll tell you this. I actually watched for a lot of the first half the Fab Five broadcast. Did you see this?
I seen about it and watched their broadcast. No, I did see it.
I liked it. Like, I would never want to watch LSU like that.
Okay.
But I don't have a rooting interest in
no
this.
horse in the race.
And I thought it was interesting to hear those guys to talk about old memories, talk about Michigan basketball, and that there was a rift. Like, C-Web was not digging it.
There was beefing.
He wasn't in the documentary they did, and so it was. There was a time there where things were not great. I think when Juwan Howard got hired by Michigan, that's pretty easy to bring everybody back in when you've got a guy that was part of the team on there. But those guys I thought were entertaining. I thought it was cool to watch it with them, especially in a bad game. If it would have gotten really close late, I probably would have switched over to the traditional telecast, but I liked watching Fab Five thing. Michigan was just so impressive. They're so big, and they cause so many problems for Arizona's offense. Arizona shot 37% in the game. And it was not a 37% I thought was just a terrible shooting night for Arizona. I thought they had trouble getting shots.
Yeah.
And it is a shot-making sport, but you got to get the ones and create the high percentage stuff. And Arizona just couldn't. And, oh, by the way, Michigan scored 91 points. So
I like to do that to everybody.
It's just it's great coaching. It's great players. It's a great combination. You would have told me that they were only going to get 14 minutes out of Lindenberg. I just don't think I would have said that they could win the game by 18 points, but they just ran away from Arizona. That's an Arizona team that went into this game 36-2.
Yeah.
Dusted them. 20-point win without their best player. That's wild. So now you transition to tonight. And I saw a great graphic today and I don't have it anymore, so I don't know what the teams are. But Alex Caravan has more NCAA tournament wins and all these programs.
Oh yeah, he's been around the block. He's been around the block.
He's bidding tonight to become the most successful non-UCLA player ever. Obviously, Wooden's UCLA teams won 100 in a row. So they literally won 88 games in a row. So he can't beat those guys in terms of championships, but to win a third championship would be crazy. And I actually think he's a big key to this game because you can't beat Michigan. UConn can't beat Michigan 66-62. You have to go score 80 to beat Michigan. And for UConn to do that, he's got to shoot better. I saw the statistics, 3 of 18 in the last 2 games from the floor, only 2 of 13 from 3. He's not their best player, but he is an important player, and he needs to shoot better. If you're going to take shots, he's got to make them, and he's not right now, and that's something they got to do. I love watching UConn play offense.
Yes.
If I haven't watched a lot of UConn or haven't paid, watch when they play, they never stop moving.
Their sets are beautiful.
It's constant motion all the time. And I'm okay with doing things different ways offensively. I can appreciate different styles of basketball, but Hurley's got those dudes knowing where they're supposed to be and what they're supposed to do, and it's beautiful to watch, and it's hard to defend because they put you constantly in decision mode defensively on the ball and off the ball, and it's constantly moving, and Michigan's defense is up to that challenge, but as I said on Friday, I'm not in the business of discounting UConn. I'm picking Michigan to win the game.
Yeah, that's
but I'm not saying, well, they blew out Arizona, they're going to blow out. They're not blowing UConn out. I don't think they're going to blow UConn out.
Yeah, no, you already said that Michigan was your national champion, so that's where you're at. Your line has been drawn in the sand.
But it's not going to be 91-73 was the Arizona score. I will be surprised if they run away from UConn.
I would be very surprised too, just because of the stat I gave you last week that UConn, every time they're in the Final Four, they never lose.
Yeah,
they're going for 7-7, 7 times in the national championship game. They haven't lost, so it's hard not to back that. But this Michigan team is talented, and Dusty May. I don't think you've seen it because you were probably watching the LSU game, but the Illinois game before.
I did not see.
Yeah, he was at the game. He was there courtside scouting them. He was scouting them right before Arizona and Michigan played. So this guy, if anybody's more confident in his team, Dusty May is confident in Michigan.
Yeah, it would be really interesting. The storyline is better if UConn wins.
Yes,
because you get Hurley on the mic, and you just never know what's going to happen. I don't like the way Danny Hurley acts. It's not illegal, and I don't if he was my coach, I wouldn't care. I just show me how you
That's
win
what he
games.
does. Yeah.
And I don't think anybody's sending a bunch of flowers to Will Wade or Lane Kiffin these days. So it is what it is. But I do think he's incredible. It's just incredible. Because at Duke, they've got 3 of the top 8 picks in the draft every year. And he usually doesn't.
Nope.
And this team doesn't have like a slam dunk dude at the top of the draft. But he can coach a man, and they're going to sit down and guard you. They're going to go get the ball off the glass, and they're going to move on offense and make you play defense. Even if it takes a whole shot clock, they're going to make you move. I appreciate him so much as a coach. I don't like him as a dude, but I do think it's interesting when he gets on the microphone, and if that does happen, that'll be a heck of a story. I mean, he was already puffing his chest out saying, like, the sport goes through us when they won the last one. So if he does it again,
he's right.
With a team people kind of counted out. Like, there was a time that you could, Jimmy would know this, there was a time when you could get UConn at a big old price.
Oh, he knows. He knows that. He knows the price for everybody. Jimmy probably has it in a book. Jimmy takes the notes. Like, he has it documented. I promise you, he has it documented. But, Hunt, this is the best part about all this, what you just said about this UConn team. In the past, they had Donovan Clingan, Jordan Hawkins. Like, they've had NBA guys. This team specifically, maybe Tyrus Reed, other than that, there's really no guys where you're like, okay, this guy's a slam dunk first-round pick. He's got a bunch of transfer ragtag, a couple guys, Caravan, been around forever, and he's about to go do it. Like, I love that these are guys that came up in a program, just some ragtag guys he found.
7's too many points. I would take the points.
Take the points?
I would take the points.
Take the points.
But I got Michigan winning it. That's who I had in my bracket. I don't think any of the rest of my bracket was any good at all, but I did have Michigan winning it, which is not that. It's a once.
That's impressive, though. No, that's impressive.
Not that impressive. It'd be impressive if I had, like the Kemba Walker UConn team. That would be impressive. Yeah. This is just one of the chalk teams, but I think they're the best. I think they'll win. I expect UConn to be right in the mix with it tonight when they play at midnight, basically. But I'll stay up till one shining moment. No doubt. I got to see one shining moment. Got to see it. So we'll see. All right, let's transition. We got some baseball talk coming up in 15 minutes. We'll get back to it next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Boudreaux's Electrical Services. Boudreaux's Electrical Services. I talked about hurricanes with the insurance when I talked to you about the Howard Insurance Group earlier. It applies to your Generac home standby generator as well. Don't wait until hurricane season's here to get that generator put in. Just make that plan to do it now. Call Boudreaux's Electrical, family-owned and operated. Neil and Melissa have been at it for 40 years. Give them a call and make sure that generator is in place by the time hurricane season rolls around. Because whether you ride the hurricane out and you want that power to stay on, or you evacuate, you come back to a neighborhood that doesn't have power, we've all been back in that house that's 97 degrees and the fridge has all got to be thrown out and the freezer's all ruined. It's miserable. Don't do that. Have that Generac home standby generator put in from the folks at Boudreaux's Electrical. Give yourself the peace of mind to know the power's not going to go out on you. Give Boudreaux's Electrical a call, 985-397-1562. That's 985-397-1562 or 225-300-9389. That's 225-300-9389. Boudreaux's Electrical.
My father, J.B. Falgu, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even J.B. could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana. We continue to thrive because of the legacy of J.B. Falgu.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
If your office is experiencing performance issues Like slow networks, jammed printers, or disappearing files? Advanced Office Systems may be right for you. With powerful IT solutions, print management, document imaging, and security systems, they help offices regain confidence naturally. Side effects may include uncontrollable efficiency, smoother workflows, and a sudden burst of office joy. Say goodbye to those emotional breakdowns in the supply closet and get back on track with Advanced Office Systems.
At Raising Cane's, we hand batter every chicken finger, mix every cane sauce, butter every Texas toast, stir every slaw, and salt every fry. Because when you do it right, you can taste it in every bite. Raising Cane's chicken fingers, one love.
Man, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable and reduce your environmental impact to help protect our planet. Together, we're fueling our energy future. Atmos Energy.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Guarantee Health Solutions. Guarantee Health Solutions, guiding healthcare forward. GuaranteeHealth.com.
Shout out to the folks at Fabry Chevrolet GMC. Fabry Chevrolet GMC on Highway 61 in St. Francisville. Reminder that they service all makes in the service department there at Fabry Chevrolet GMC. So if you're in the area there in St. Francisville, want to stop in and get that car all tuned up, they can do it for you at Fabry Chevrolet GMC. And a reminder, if you've got a summer road trip coming up at the beginning of summer when the kids just get out of school and you're looking for a new SUV, they've got them at Fabry Chevrolet GMC. You might be looking for a Yukon or a Denali on the GMC side, maybe a Suburban or a Tahoe on the Chevy side. They've got them. Check out the entire inventory online at FabryChevrolet.com, FabryChevrolet.com. Fabry Chevrolet GMC on Highway 61 in St. Francisville. Let's talk about Zach Cowan, because I didn't in the first 30 minutes of the show. We talked about LSU's big series win over the Vols in Knoxville. Zach Cowan took the ball on Sunday and went 4 innings, allowed 2 runs, but neither was earned. Just gave up 1 hit and really held the rope for LSU to try to stay in that game. He's been sensational. And you look at his SEC numbers, 12 1/3 innings pitched over 4 games, 12 1/3. He's only allowed 3 hits in 12 1/3. He has not given up an earned run yet in 12 1/3. He's got 16 strikeouts and 1 walk in 12 1/3. He has been a difference maker for LSU. And this is a role that we have seen evolve in Jay Johnson's time in Baton Rouge. What kind of started with Paul Gervais and Eric Raiselman and developed 2 years later with Griffin Herring was taken on last year by Kason Evans and Zach Cowan, and then Chase Shores took it. It's that dominant reliever that's good for 9 outs that you get the ball to in that first chance in a weekend to win, and you let him run. And he's been brilliant in these SEC games. 12 1/3 innings of no earned run baseball with 16 strikeouts and 1 walk on just 3 hits. That's special stuff. And in that ballpark, you really need to miss some bats. And Tennessee's guys did that for the most part. Like I was telling you, Mac had 10 strikeouts between Appenzeller and Coons. They struck out 7 on Saturday. And Cowan didn't miss as many bats. He only had 3 strikeouts in those 4 innings, but the quality of Tennessee's contact just wasn't very good. And it's really with just that fastball changeup repertoire. He'll flip a breaking ball in there occasionally. But the outlier for Cowan at LSU is now the last 3 regular season weeks, College Station and Columbia last year, and the Little Rock game, plus his first 2 outings this year. Those 4 or 5 outings are dissimilar to the vast majority of his outings over 2 seasons, which have been excellent. His heartbeat is slow. He rarely walks people, and he doesn't give up a lot of hard contact. He did at A&M. He did at South Carolina. He did against Little Rock, and he did early in the season this year. But since he turned it on around SEC play, he's been fantastic, and that's a guy that I feel like you can absolutely trust. LSU is in a situation here where you're trying to eat outs. You don't have Cade Anderson and Anthony Ianson, and you don't have a third starter right now. You're trying to cobble that together. Guidry wasn't good against Kentucky. Fontenot, got you off to the start this week with 2 innings, but you need to eat outs out of the bullpen. Because Kason Evans got you 5 2/3, William Schmidt got you 5 2/3. That leaves some meat on the bone in those games, and then you don't have anybody to extend on Sunday. And he didn't want to start Cowan, but got him out there, and he was sensational. And I feel really, really good about him in that spot. And oh, by the way, awesome job by Gavin Guidry. It goes unnoticed because of the onslaught and the 10 runs that LSU picked up in the 12th, but he walked a high wire there for 4 innings and got it done. He got a little bit fortunate with the wind and the great catch by Derek Curiel in center field, but you look at the stat line for Gavin Guidry late in the game on Sunday, 5 1/3, only 2 hits and 1 run. He walked 1 and struck out 1. It wasn't the strikeout numbers for Guidry, but he was in the strike zone enough to go ahead and get those outs that he needed. And he made the bad pitch that really irritated me. I thought Josh Elander got let off the hook, and he almost won the game, and I thought it was a terrible decision. When Tennessee got that hit in the 9th, it was a flare off Brown's bat that went into center field. I thought bunting the 7-hole hitter there was a ridiculous decision by Josh Elander off Guidry, because you gave LSU an out there, and then you've got 8 and 9 coming up. 8 was Levi Clark, who's had a terrible season. He's hitting 100-something in SEC play. And then you've got Abernathy coming up, who's been awful as well. You got your worst 2 hitters coming up, and you need a hit from those guys. And that's what he bunted for. And then Clark hits the sac fly because Guidry threw the 1 wild pitch that moved the runner to third base. He was out there for 5 1/3 innings, and he made 1 atrocious pitch. But it was so bad that it bounced over into the dugout and allowed the runner to go to third base, and then Tennessee was able to knock him in with the sac fly. I thought they let Elander off the hook there. I thought it was a bad decision that he made to bunt that, to bunt with a 7-hole guy. But outside of that bad wild pitch, Guidry was phenomenal as well. You've seen the bullpen roles change a little bit over time. Sheeran's been pretty high leverage all year. Guidry's been pretty high leverage all year. Cowan has worked his way into that, and then they're just kind of seeing what they've got with the rest of the guys. Lockenmeyer was good at one point, and he was not as good on Sunday. Rizzi came in and walked 2 guys, and he got 2 outs. Santiago Garcia came in and walked a guy. He only got 1 out. So it's a mixed bag with a lot of guys, and they're trying to find those roles and develop those guys. But the thing that has been consistent since it started was Cowan's role there. So that's where you are in the bullpen. Let me kind of finish this pitching segment off with the starters. I thought both guys were pretty good. They were pretty good. Evans goes 5 2/3. He gave up 6 hits and 3 runs. He struck out 6 and walked 2, 90 pitches. I thought he was okay. I thought Schmidt was pretty good, but neither guy has developed into that dominant guy. They're both doing a nice job. And that's something that I wrestled with this weekend, and how to feel about that. I think they're talented. I think they have the ability to be great. I don't know that they're great right now. I think you're looking at a pair of guys who kind of feel like 2s. You don't have a lead dog, and you don't have a guy that you can really count on for 6 or 7 innings. And I don't know how fair it is to always compare them right back to Anderson, Skeens, Lang, Nola, whatever, but it's all I have to work off of. And with Evans, that's now 4 SEC starts, and 3 of them have been or not good, and one of them was awesome. And I'm just hoping for a little bit more awesome, and I thought Tennessee might be a pretty good matchup for them because they do strike out a little bit. Ole Miss strikes out a ton, and that's who we'll see this weekend. But they're not doing a bad job. I don't mean to be disparaging about them. I just mean to say it's just not quite to the championship level. That's what I see from them. And so I feel pretty good when they're on the mound. And I think that Schmidt deserves a lot of credit for throwing a lot more strikes this year than he did last year. He deserves a lot of credit for getting the 7 punch-outs on Saturday. He didn't get any help in his offense, but it's just good. And I'm hoping for great. The way this team takes the next step and becomes a contender is those 2 guys. And it's a lot to put on them, but the offense has woken up a little bit. The defense is what it is. This is not going to be appreciably different. But the offense is waking up a little bit, and you've got some guys that you trust out of the bullpen that are veterans. The next step for this LSU team needs to come from the starting 2. And if Moore comes back, great. Jay Johnson will, I'm sure, talk about that tomorrow or Wednesday. But Schmidt and Evans are the 2 guys that can change planes on this thing. And I didn't think they did that over the weekend. They were good enough to keep LSU in games. LSU was in the game on Saturday, in the game on Friday. But they weren't great. And that's kind of the bar that you're looking at LSU. We'll see what they do against Ole Miss. There's still a lot of season left. Still a lot of time to kick it into gear. But this is about the time where Anderson and Ianson kicked it into gear last year. And Schmidt and Evans are not quite there yet. We'll see. We will certainly see. Let's talk about that as well as some national college baseball storylines, some SEC college baseball storylines. Jacob Rudder covers the sport for Baseball America. He'll be back with us. Big picture stuff next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Swing Easy Golf Club in Baton Rouge. SwingEasyGCBR.com is the website, but don't go to the website. Just go to Swing Easy Golf Club. It's on Segan at Perkins. It's a great place to play some golf. There's a pretty big tournament this week, if you hadn't heard. Coming up over the weekend. Give out some clothing at the end. If you want to play that course on the simulator, you can. We've done it. It's a lot of fun. You hit your tee shots, hit those iron shots, you chip and putt, you card a score. You can play it from the members' tees. You can play it from the championship tees as well. If you want to do that while you're watching the tournament, you can do that over the weekend because they got televisions in there in every individual bay. You can get a bucket of beers, seltzers delivered to your room. It's an awesome, awesome spot at Swing Easy Golf Club. Go by and see them. They're on Segan at Perkins. Hit some golf shots, work on your game, play that course they play the famous tournament at. It's a great spot. Swing Easy Golf Club in Baton Rouge.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
When it comes to industrial construction, River Parish Contractors can do it all. Mechanical, structural, custom fabrication, specialized welding, and turnaround services. Strategically located in between Baton Rouge and New Orleans, we have the local team with the experience and commitment to safety to manage the most complex industrial projects. Period. Here's the deal. Partnering with us means your project is delivered on time, on budget, and most important, safely. River Parish Contractors, let's get building.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed, for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
After a decade of working in private duty nursing, I know how hard it can be to find compassionate care for the ones that you love the most. So I started Decision Critical, a premier concierge nursing agency, so we can take care of you wherever you are. Our highly skilled nurses provide exceptional care from the comfort of your own home with personalized packages for short-term, long-term, or even around-the-clock care. Visit us at decisioncriticalbr.com and give us a call today to get started.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you. Problem gambling isn't always easy to spot. Know the signs, set your limit. Learn more about healthy gambling habits by visiting us online. Or
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Guarantee Health Solutions. Guarantee Health Solutions, guiding healthcare forward. GuaranteeHealth.com.
Tigers have won 2 weekends in a row. Took 2 or 3 from Kentucky in dramatic fashion at the box 2 weeks ago. And, of course, the theatrics in Knoxville over the weekend, a 10-run 12th inning for LSU as they come home with 2 or 3 from Rocky Top. Jacob Rudder covers college baseball for Baseball America. Good enough to give us a little bit of time here on this Monday. Jacob, we appreciate that time. How are you?
Doing well. How are you guys?
Doing better than we were a couple weeks ago. Things were a little dicey, still are a little dicey for LSU baseball, but a couple of winning weeks in a row. I guess we'll start with the home team and get to some of the national storylines to follow. Where are you with LSU? I know y'all did not rank them in this morning's top 25, but they have won a couple in a row.
Yeah, we were feeling a lot better about LSU, and they were close. It was definitely a part of the conversation last night. We were trying to figure out our top 25. It was just at a point right now where you consider the body of work overall, and we didn't know that it was, definitively better than some of the teams that we put towards the back of the poll. Maybe there was an argument that you bump out a team like Arkansas and put LSU in, but we thought that it was fringe enough that Arkansas was already in the poll, LSU wasn't, and one more week of just seeing what the Tigers do wouldn't hurt. That being said, from a projection standpoint, we are starting to feel a lot better about the Tigers. I'll give you a sneak preview of our Field of 64 projection that comes out on Wednesday. We have LSU in there as the last 2 seed, 2 seed number 32 in the UCLA Regional. I think on their current trajectory, that probably makes the most sense. Their RPI will balloon, just as conference play continues to go on. We think that it's a good team. We obviously felt that way before the season, and now they're kind of starting to play like the team that we expected again. And so is there work to still do? Of course, but I feel a lot better about where they stand. I think it's a little bit more of a solidified tournament resume than it felt like even a week ago and certainly 2 weeks ago. And so we'll just continue to see. Obviously, they'll have to continue this play. But again, I do think that this is a much better spot for LSU than it was, 14 days ago.
You mentioned LSU getting sent out to UCLA. They did that after a national championship in 2009, so history will be repeating itself. I don't see Garrett Cole and Trevor Bauer on that team in Westwood, but they're pretty damn good. What can you tell us about the way that UCLA is playing right now against an overmatched Big Ten?
I think that a lot of the conversation about West Coast baseball, and this dates back years, is just the style of play that exists. It's a lot of strike-throwing pitchers, maybe not the most powerful lineups in the country. And I think that there are elements of that to what UCLA does. They do throw a ton of strikes, regularly over 60%, which is kind of that you're going to win the game threshold for a pitching staff over the course of the game. They do have a lot of guys who are very good at passing the baton to the next. They're able to hit, for power. They're able to hit for average. Where I think that this UCLA team is different from the historic West Coast mold is the stuff on the mound that is in the zone is excellent. You've got multiple pitchers that are over 95 miles per hour. Hal Randall came out of the bullpen this weekend and touched 100. And then the lineup, of course, is actually a powerful group. Rock Chalowski, of course, is the headline name. He's more than capable of putting the ball over the wall. But Will Gasparino, former SEC player, has lots of juice to his bat. Mulabai-Levu hit 2 home runs last night. Even Dean West, who's a little bit of an undersized, back up the middle type profile left fielder for them, is somebody who can go and hit a couple of home runs. So it's a lineup that does a lot of the traditional West Coast things well. But what makes this group different is that it is A, very talented when it comes to the MLB draft conversations, but B, it's a little bit more talented in the way that we see in the SEC, the power pitching and the power hitting, and it all comes together to make what I think is by far the best team in the country.
By far. That's interesting. Let's talk about Georgia Tech a little bit. That's another team that's had a great go outside the Southeastern Conference where we're kind of insulated in our bubble. What can you tell us about Georgia Tech?
It's an outstanding offense, and it's been that way the entire season. Drew Burris was kind of the headliner coming into the year, just given the production that he's had throughout his college career. Von Lackey, the catcher, has kind of taken over that conversation. He's our number 5 prospect in the 2026 draft. Very good athlete. I've had a couple of scouting directors tell me that they think that he could be a prospect, even if he was a third baseman or an outfielder, just with how athletic he is. He's a great hitter. And there are a number of guys throughout that lineup that are very, very good at taking advantage of the ballpark that they play in, which is offensively friendly, but they also continue to hit when they go away from home. And we've seen them do that even when they go across the country to a team like Cal that isn't necessarily the most challenging in the world, but those kinds of trips are not easy for a team like Georgia Tech that's not used to them at this point in the calendar. And they went out there and they picked up a sweep. So it's an impressive team. I think their pitching staff has maybe surprised a couple of people. That was the question going into the year, was whether or not they were going to be able to pitch in games. We all knew that they were going to be able to hit. And we've seen now already a couple of times that they can certainly do that. When they were at NC State, for example, those were lower scoring games. They didn't run away with any of them. And their pitching held tough. The bullpen's been really good. Is it the most stuff-heavy team relative to maybe what we're used to seeing in the SEC, or even with a team like UCLA? I still wouldn't say that, but I do think that it's a really competitive group that's around the zone and does a lot of the right things in order to put the game in a good situation for the offense to go win it.
I'm kind of monitoring the top teams in the country in the event that LSU does have to travel for a regional. You can't go to an SEC team, so I'm trying to keep tabs on some of these potential destinations for LSU should the Tigers not host. Let's talk about teams in the SEC now, and Jacob Rudner is our guest from Baseball America. What do you make of Alabama? That's a team that got swept in the opener of conference play, and I kind of thought they were going to be a team that maybe struggled to make the field of 64, and now all of a sudden they've just ripped off 3 incredible weekends in a row. How good are they?
Well, that makes 2 of us. I'll be perfectly honest with you. In my preseason field of 64, I did not have Alabama making the field. It's a loaded SEC. There's a very harsh cut line once you get towards that number 12, number 13 team. I had Alabama on the wrong side of that. I am not afraid to admit it. I didn't think that they had the pieces to be as competitive as they are, but they look really great. And they're as top as anybody in the country. They've got 9 top 25 wins, which is tied with UCLA for the most in the country. They do have 2 top 25 losses, which UCLA doesn't have. But I don't know that there's a lot of teams, or really any teams, that are hotter in the country. 8-4 in the SEC. Their pitching staff has been very good, led by Tyler Fay, who obviously threw the no-hitter a couple of weeks ago. I think that this is a team that looks like it's going to be able to host. It certainly controls its own destiny. I think that at this point in the calendar, if you're going to play as well as Alabama is in this conference, you do have a little bit of a security safety net behind you to maybe have 1 or 2 more bad weekends. But again, on their current trajectory, we're looking at a potential national seed, which is where we're probably going to project them for on Wednesday.
I'm curious your thoughts on 4 pretty powerful brands that have spent a lot of time in Omaha over the last 3 or 4 years. Tennessee, LSU, Texas A&M, and Arkansas. None of them exactly where they want to be right now. Who do you think may be in the most trouble amongst that group of 4 teams?
There's no question it's Tennessee right now. It's just been some uninspiring baseball. At 4-8 in the SEC, we don't have them in our field of 64 at the moment. We don't plan to have them in our field of 64 on Wednesday. Last week, they were one of the first 4 teams out. This week, I don't anticipate them even being one of the 8 bubble teams that we list out. The RPI is down to 45, which at this point is starting to become a little bit more relevant. At 20-12 overall, not terribly impressive considering who they play. And if you kind of go through the results that they've had, even in non-conference play, it wasn't terribly impressive. You got the series loss to Kent State at home. I think that ends up being a little bit louder than it maybe could have been towards the end of the year, considering how they're playing now. And the offense just really isn't moving the needle at the moment. You got a couple of players like Henry Ford and Blaine Brown, who I do think are well above average contributors. I think Brown in particular is a really standout player who's going to go well in next year's draft. But beyond those guys, there are really only a handful of contributors who have been consistent. Reese Chapman is one of them. They've been able to count on him for a number of years. That hasn't really changed. Levi Clark is starting to look a little bit better, but overall has not had the best year. Jay Abernathy kind of in that category. And then beyond that, it's just kind of a list of guys who are really still trying to figure it out. So I think it's a team that has talent. It wouldn't be a surprise to me if they end up turning it around late and maybe make some sort of push that gets them in as a 3 seed. We've seen a number of SEC teams do exactly that over the last couple of years. Florida in 2024 comes to mind. One game above 500 at the end of the regular season. They end up pushing all the way to Omaha. Do I think Tennessee's that caliber? Probably not. But do they have the pieces to make a similar run? Possibly. I mean, the rotation does have some premium stuff. Keegan Coons to us is a first-round pick. Landon Mack to us is a future first-round pick. Evan Blanco is an experienced senior left-hander who's around the zone. He's proven. He even has results this season. And then you got guys like Brandon Arvidsson, Bo Rudy out of the bullpen, who we like a lot in a draft context as well. So the talent is there. The performance has not been lately, and their current trend is one that misses the tournament.
And last one here, and your time appreciated so much here on this Monday, Jacob. Georgia goes to Starkville and gets a sweep. LSU will be in Starkville 3 weeks from now. They'll be in Athens closer to the end of the season. How real is Wes Johnson's team at Georgia?
I think very. And you go back to the preseason. Georgia's been one of the teams that we've liked a lot. I had them in my preseason 8 for Omaha, way too early projection of the final 18 standing. I think that all they've done so far this year has validated that expectation. When it comes to Georgia over the last couple of years, there's been no shortage of stuff on the mound. Wes Johnson does an amazing job of going and finding guys in the transfer portal who are going to come out and look like SEC starters in terms of just what they're throwing. Last year it was Brian Curley. He's got a high 90s fastball, a couple of breaking balls, but the consistency of what that turned into was not great. He had some bad starts. We've seen some bullpen pieces that have loud stuff at Georgia over the last couple of years kind of fizzle out towards the end of the season. This year feels different to me because I actually think that they have the horses on the mound. Joey Volchko, to me, is one of the most intriguing starters in the country. I think Kenny Ishikawa, who hasn't necessarily been great since coming back from breaking his foot, will eventually round into form and has been good. I see a couple of bullpen pieces there that are really intriguing to me, like Matt Scott, who transferred with Joey Volchko from Stanford. And then the bats are the bats. It's always been loud Georgia offense. They lead the SEC in home runs. They do take advantage of a reasonably favorable environment at Foley Field for hitting, but it's traveled this year. They went into Starkville and they hit and they won a couple of games. And so I think that this is a team that is doing it a little bit differently than the past couple of Georgia teams. The talent is the same. The results are a lot better. And that's been the question for Wes Johnson now for 4 seasons. And I think that this finally is the team that looks like it could go and make a really deep run.
We'll be on the lookout for that Field of 64 released on Wednesday over at Baseball America. Jacob Rudder, National College Baseball reporter for the folks at Baseball America. Really appreciate some time. Great stuff.
Thanks for having me.
He is Jacob Rudner. As I mentioned there, I know that I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking UCLA and Georgia Tech baseball on this show. That's not where our bread is buttered. That's not something you want to hear about all the time. But I personally am starting to take some notes on some of the top teams in the country because I wrote this on Around the Horn today, and I feel this today. If you ask me, and this is my opinion, this is not fact, it's my opinion, what's LSU going to end up doing this year? I think they're going to travel for a regional. I don't think this team's going to host. I'll be thrilled if I'm proven wrong, and if they snap out of it and they get better starting pitching and they continue to hit and they hit some aces and they play a little bit better defense and they end up winning 16 league games and host. That's awesome. But I don't think that's going to happen, in my opinion, based on what I've seen. And so where might they get sent? Well, Atlanta, LA, those are options. Hattiesburg is another option. I don't know if Coastal is an option potentially, but some of those are better than others. I'd much rather be in Hattiesburg or in Myrtle Beach than LA. I do not want any part of that UCLA team in that environment. It's a very favorable environment for them. There's nobody in the stands. I would rather LSU fans be able to travel a little bit and play a team that's lesser than that. But I am paying attention to some of the top teams in the country. because if LSU travels, that's what you're going to see. And so wanted to get just a thumbnail on some of those teams and how they're playing. UCLA hadn't lost in 5 weeks, I don't think. It's been a minute since they dropped a game. Georgia Tech is swinging the bats like crazy. So we'll see. I just wanted to get kind of a thought on some of the national teams as well as some of the teams in the SEC. Jacob said they'll have LSU sent to Westwood this Wednesday. That would not be ideal in any way because that's a really good UCLA team. I wasn't that impressed with them in Omaha last year, but they're a year older and they've got some new pieces, especially with Will Gasparino in the lineup. So it'll be interesting, but LSU's got to take care of their own business. That's winning baseball games. So thanks to Jacob for giving us a little time here on this Monday. We'll take a time out, come back and close it out next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Gonna take a tour of Marucci. Marucci is the official bat of Major League Baseball. It's right here in Baton Rouge. Started out 2 decades ago in a backyard shed, and it's grown into a global brand. And you can go see where they make 1,200 bats every single day. You can grab one. You can go hit in the cages. See the Hitter's House. If you take a tour, the Hitter's House store, 20% off. In the campus store, 20% off. Get that ticket, maruccisports.com/campus-tour. Take your youth softball team. Take your youth baseball team. Take your kids. Go yourself. Step into the heart of the game. It's there at Marucci. Online at maruccisports.com/campus-tour. That's our friends at Marucci.
My father, J.B. Falgu, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even J.B. could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana. We continue to thrive because of the legacy of J.B. Falgu.
The Cane's Box Combo, a symphony of flavors. Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers, one love.
Man, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
Everything you need for a stunning garden is at the Plant Barn in Baton Rouge. From trees and shrubs to plants and pottery, the Plant Barn has it all at great prices. Visit us today on Valley Street, right off Perkins Road in South Downs.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
I'm Gabrielle McLeod on behalf of the Louisiana Propane Dealers. I have spent hundreds of hours preparing for scholarship competitions. That preparation paid off when I won the Fitness and Talent Awards along with the title of Miss Louisiana. The Louisiana Propane Dealers are also pretty talented and want you to be prepared for when the power goes out. Visit louisianapropane.com to find out about propane generators and other safety tips. Louisiana Propane, it truly is the fuel for our future.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Guarantee Health Solutions. Guarantee Health Solutions, guiding healthcare forward. GuaranteeHealth.com.
Shout out to Rachel Fricky and the awesome team at Guarantee Health Solutions. Such a cool venture here for us under the Guarantee roof. And Rachel's got a background in hospitality. She worked in the hotel industry for years. And unfortunately, her mother got diagnosed with cancer back in 2009. And Rachel saw that process from the patient side and said, this is just so impersonal, so transactional, and quite frankly, miserable. This can be improved upon with some hospitality. And fast forward, that's what helped launch Guarantee Health Solutions. Their job there at Guarantee Health Solutions is to make sure that the patient journey through your healthcare facility is a quality one. How many clicks is it to care? How easy is it to access care digitally? What's your brand like? When the patient does come in for that appointment, what's the experience like? Does the front desk treat them properly? How do you know that they're going to come back for those annuals? Are you properly keeping up with that? What's your marketing situation? All these things are the bread and butter for Guarantee Health Solutions, guiding healthcare forward. So if you're in healthcare, whether you're a private clinic or dental office, hospital, urgent care, no matter what space you're in, and you don't know how those things are being handled or if you're up to par, Guarantee Health Solutions can help you with that. Check them out online at guaranteehealth.com. That's guaranteehealth.com. All right, we're just about done here on a Monday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show. Appreciate y'all starting your work week with us. Hope it's off to a good start after a holiday weekend. Let's do the only thing we've got left to do today. Let's take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Today's hottest stories in sports, news, and sometimes even Hunt's life. The question is, will he take them or leave them?
All right, Hunt, so it's Masters Week. So the full menu of concession items for the 2026 Masters was revealed on Monday, featuring the iconic egg salad sandwich, the pimento cheese sandwich, and the new Masters candy bar. The entire menu, if you wanted to buy the whole thing, it's $75.75. Domestic beer, $6. So is it outrageous that the Superdome prices are what they are?
Yes.
Take it or leave it.
It's very little to do with the Masters. It just is what it is. It's just like there was something on the Final Four price list that I saw the other day. Oh, it was a bottle of water.
Okay, what it was?
And it was like $11 or something.
Oh, bottle of water.
And it's like, when you're the person who's in charge of making that decision and that's what you're doing, like, I can't take you seriously. I understand how revenues work and how supply and demand works, and I understand all that stuff. You just shouldn't do it. You shouldn't be charging that for a bottle of water. A bottle of water should cost $3 tops. At the tops. And we just have worked ourselves into this garbage where everything you buy at a sporting event is an arm and a leg, and it just doesn't have to be that way. I think it's greedy. I think it costs teams money. I think the Falcons have proven that.
Yes.
It's a bummer. It's a bummer that beer costs $20 at a Saints game. That's a bummer.
Yes, the Falcons definitely figured it out, and the Phoenix Suns. They also have very cheap prices. So North Carolina tends to hire long-term NBA head coach Michael Malone as the next head basketball coach. He last won the Denver Nuggets their first NBA championship in 2023. 510 wins as an NBA head coach. So did UNC get better today? Take it or leave it.
I'll take it. He's probably better than Hubert Davis, I would think. I mean,
we'll see. We'll see.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Does he recruit? Does he handle the boosters? And
figure that
there's
out.
a lot of things going on there. I applaud them for going outside the box, for not just hiring the next guy that's got Tar Heel gym shorts in his closet,
in his locker or something.
I mean, it's a weird hire,
very weird,
but it's a big name.
I'll tell you this: I saw
should have hired Natos.
Oh, he just signed a new contract extension. He got extended. So I saw this. His daughter is a sophomore at UNC. She's on the volleyball team, Michael Malone. So that might have something to do with it. A little family ties. So UConn is taking Oh, hold on. Make sure I'm making this right. Okay, so UConn is taking measures to avoid a catastrophic event on campus on Monday if they win the national championship. So in 2023 and 2024, students tore down lampposts and were ramming buildings with them.
Okay.
So they have now removed the lampposts ahead of the game tonight. So does that mean UConn thinks they're going to win it all tonight? Take it or leave it.
I'll take it. We're taking the lamppost down.
Taking the
lamppost
lamppost
down. In
down.
stores. Okay, that's great. That is. Look, I've said this a lot of times. I'm at least consistent. I don't expect drunk college kids to make very good decisions. I don't expect them to do that in the student section at Tiger Stadium. I don't expect them to do that in Storrs, Connecticut if they
100%.
win or lose a national championship. Drunk college kids are going to make bad decisions. If you expect the drunk college kids to make good decisions, that's probably on you. And so 100%. I guess the folks at the police department there in stores is expecting them to make bad decisions, so we'll take that decision-making ability away from them to an extent.
It's one of the first times I've seen a campus remove lampposts because they know they're going to tear them down and ram them into buildings. So that's one of one. So that's it for Take It.
Go Huskies. All right.
Oh, Huskies. Well, no, you're Michigan today. You're Michigan.
I mean, yeah, I'm just saying
in
terms of this story. That's wild stuff. I'm excited for tomorrow's show. We do get the opportunity to go watch LSU on the practice field tomorrow. We'll see them at 9:50, and I'll have a practice report up at LouisianaSports.net. Lane Kiffin will meet with the media tomorrow, so we'll have a lot of coverage on that tomorrow. We'll certainly react to the national title game tonight, LSU and Bethune-Cookman tomorrow. Incidentally, those of you that come to trivia on Tuesdays at Court at the Table, no trivia tomorrow at Court at the Table because I'm doing the color on the baseball game with Chris Blair on Tuesday evening against Bethune-Cookman. So get you a preview for that game as well. We'll talk Saints with Sharif Ishak. We'll talk some LSU with Glenn West. Lots going on tomorrow's show. If you missed any of today's show, well, that's a bummer, but that's okay. You can catch it on demand wherever you find your sound. You can check us out at The Hunt Palmer Show, wherever you find your podcasts. You can also find us at Hunt on LSU. Had a lot of LSU football talk, a lot of LSU baseball talk today as well. So you can check that out at Hunt on LSU and Hunt on Saints as well. We had a story on ESPN.com today about the Saints potentially trading up to the third pick in the draft. How do I feel about that? Well, you can find it at Hunt on Saints. Appreciate y'all for starting your work week off with us here on this Monday. Hope it has been a good start to the work week. Matt's going to drive you home next on After Further Review. We'll have a lot of probably reaction on the weekend that was for the Tigers in Knoxville. Some LSU football from him as well. We're out of here. See you tomorrow, same time, same place.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Before we leave, let's tell you about Ochsner. Check them out online at ochsner.org/findcare. That's ochsner.org/findcare. That'll tell you where you need to go with your medical situation. That primary care visit is going to be a comprehensive and continuous visit. It's going to be immunizations, maybe some headaches, stomach aches that are mild, chronic disease management like blood pressure, cholesterol, blood sugar, all those things. You can do those virtually as well, so check that out online. If you are looking for an urgent care, that might be a situation where you've got lacerations, abscesses, urinary pain, ear infections, maybe minor burns or rashes, skin irritations. That's where you need to head to the urgent care. Emergency care, that's going to be severe chest pain, severe bleeding, maybe head trauma or allergic reaction. And then you've got your 24/7 virtual care options, which are scheduling things online with My Ochsner. Call them at 1-800-231-5257. It's Ochsner. Primary care, urgent care,